"Daddy, why did Mommy leave us?" the little girl asks, leaving him speechless. It was a cold Sunday morning when 5-year-old Ellie tugged at her father's flannel sleeve. Her big brown eyes, round and searching, peered into his soul as she whispered the question he had dreaded for months. "Daddy, why did Mommy leave us?" Nathan's heart cracked in a way that no words could describe. He looked away, hoping she wouldn't see the storm behind his eyes. He had prepared answers in his head 100 times, but nothing could have prepared him for the ache in her voice. Just 6 months ago, their home had been full of laughter, late-night dancing in the kitchen, and bedtime stories told by both parents. But life had taken a cruel turn. Laura, his wife and Ellie's mother, had walked out, without a goodbye, without closure. The truth was complicated. Depression, financial stress, a long history of silent struggles. Nathan had tried to hold it all together. But in the end, Laura couldn't stay. And he couldn't stop her. He knelt down and wrapped Ellie in his arms. "Sweetheart, sometimes people are hurting so much inside that they don't know how to stay. But it wasn't your fault. It was never your fault." She nodded slowly, leaning her head against his shoulder. "Do you think she misses us?" "I hope she does," he said honestly. "I hope she's finding the help she needs." Nathan didn't have the luxury of falling apart. As a single dad working 2 jobs, every day was a mountain. He cleaned office buildings by night and drove a delivery truck by day. He didn't complain. He couldn't. Ellie needed him. She was his reason, his anchor. But inside, he often felt like a failure. He couldn't give her everything she deserved. No Christmas lights last year, no birthday party this year, and the shoes she wore were 2 sizes too small. That evening, as they sat on the worn couch sharing canned soup and grilled cheese, Ellie turned to him with a smile. "Daddy, I made something for you." She pulled a crumpled piece of paper from her backpack. On it was a drawing, stick figures of her and her dad, holding hands under a sun with the words, "You're my sunshine now." Tears blurred his vision. He kissed the top of her head and whispered, "And you're mine, baby girl." Weeks passed. Winter deepened. One snowy evening, as Nathan walked Ellie home from daycare, he noticed her shivering. Her coat was too thin. She'd insisted it was fine. She didn't want him to worry. "Let's stop here a minute," he said, leading her into a small second-hand store, more to warm up than shop. A volunteer named Grace, an older woman with silver hair and kind eyes, greeted them. She noticed Ellie's chattering teeth and offered her a cup of cocoa from a crockpot behind the counter. "You okay, little one?" Ellie nodded, holding the warm cup. "We're just cold." Grace's eyes lingered on them for a moment longer, as if seeing beyond the surface. She walked to the back and returned with a box labeled "Winter Donations." "Pick a coat, honey," she said gently. "They're all free." Nathan opened his mouth to object, pride bubbling up, but Grace gave him a firm, knowing look. "Take it," she said. "Sometimes kindness is the only thing keeping people warm." Ellie chose a purple coat with fuzzy lining. She slipped it on and twirled. "It's perfect." That small act shattered something in Nathan, his walls, his pride, his belief that he had to do it all alone. As they left, he turned to Grace and said, "Thank you. I didn't realize how much we needed help until you offered it." Grace just smiled. "Don't thank me. Just promise to pass it on." And he did. That night, after tucking Ellie into bed, Nathan sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at her drawing. For the first time in months, he didn't feel hopeless. He felt connected. To Ellie. To strangers like Grace. To the possibility that maybe, just maybe, things could get better. Over the following weeks, Nathan started volunteering at that same second-hand store on his nights off. He fixed broken toys, sorted clothes, and helped other struggling families. He didn't have much, but he had time. And love. And the kind of empathy only those who've struggled truly understand. One evening, a single mother came in with her toddler. Her hands were shaking, her eyes red. Nathan saw himself in her. Without hesitation, he offered her the same coat that had once warmed his daughter. As she wept with gratitude, he understood something deeply: kindness is a circle. It saves you, then asks you to save someone else. Spring arrived slowly. Ellie laughed more. Nathan smiled more. Their home still lacked luxuries, but it overflowed with love and healing. And one night, as he tucked Ellie in, she whispered, "Daddy, I'm glad Mommy left." He looked at her, startled. "Because if she didn't, I wouldn't know how strong you are." Nathan kissed her forehead, speechless once again. But this time, it wasn't from pain. It was from pride, gratitude, and a heart finally mending. Because sometimes, when the world breaks you, kindness puts you back together.